Hello and welcome back to Founder Focus with Globe. I'm your host Sunlight, and today I'm joined by Evan Shapiro, co-founder and CEO at Mina. So, watch on to find out more about zero knowledge proofs and how Mina is championing this, and also any exciting updates and the roadmap ahead. So, welcome onto the show, Evan. Just to get things started, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got into the Web3 space?
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for having me on. So, yes, let's see. So I've been doing crypto Web3 stuff full time since like early 2017, but was really interested quite a while before that. I did my background's computer science. I did I really liked programming. That was like, through high school and then beyond, like the one of the main things I like doing. And I found about cryptocurrency around high school time, just from interest kind of in like being very online and being something exciting at the time in like the technical spaces. This was like 2010, 2011, so pretty early. I was mostly interested from like a technical and like a like social perspective. I somehow didn't get into like actually like mining or anything until a little bit later. Um, but found out about it then and really like got super interested in both kind of Bitcoin, but then also a lot of the projects that came after it, like kind of pre-Ethereum days, all like the random altcoins, which was just like someone would take the Bitcoin source code, they would like change a constant and they would ship like a new project. Um, and so I remember that being exciting. And then yeah, like went and did computer science, bunch of other stuff. But around after I graduated, I got really interested back into cryptocurrency, thinking about, okay, people are really excited for this technology, but the technology still has a really long way to go in order to like actually be like meaningfully scalable in a way that's like decentralized. And got really interested in thinking about that problem with my co-founder, who was also actually a friend from high school, who was coincidentally doing a PhD at Berkeley in cryptography. And we just started spending a bunch of time thinking about cryptocurrencies, decentralization, and from a research perspective, really, even before like Mina project, like um, what are things that need to be improved or changed there for crypto to actually go mainstream in a way that like preserves the decentralization properties.
Yeah, amazing. So that's a great segue actually into the problems that you found. So you said around 2010-ish, you kind of were interested in the technical side of things, and I believe the Bitcoin white paper came out in 2008. So like literally only
Yeah,
2 years after, and then yeah. So what were the problems you found with the initial days?
yeah. I mean, I think back then, well, in 2010, 2011, we were like in high school. It was just kind of exciting and interesting.
Yeah.
And we didn't really think about where necessarily it was going to go. But this was like 2016, 2017. People were still talking about crypto, like this kind of global solution to payments, and the altcoins are coming out with solutions to kind of other adjacent or other programming things. And people were talking about this, thing being really exciting and being huge that everyone would use, but the actual technology was pretty limited. It only did like 3 to 4 transactions really per second for most of these chains. And even then, there was a big argument at the time about how to think about uh, block size versus throughput, because if you raise the throughput, the chain gets bigger faster, and the decentralization relies on people downloading and checking the whole history of these chains. So you could increase the throughput, but the cost would be that your nodes would get bigger faster, which would be worse for decentralization. So you have this kind of trade-off between the two. And what really got interested in was thinking, how can we make it, well, not really how can we, but how is it possible to build a system that would both be able to do a high throughput of transactions while still being decentralized. So without having this thing where you do a lot more transactions, but everyone has to download them and check them in order to use the project. And that led us eventually to zero knowledge proofs, which was like super new at the time, like really like a few dozen people that knew the technology, but thinking about them to prove the history of a chain so that you could do a higher throughput while having this proof about the chain. And that was what led to Mina, was thinking we could create these proofs of a chain's history, and then you would have something that's decentralized, even out to like browsers, mobile, or wherever, while doing more scale. And that eventually led us to, verifiable computation in general and privacy and all of those things too.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, I mean, there obviously is a huge shift to, zero knowledge proofs at the moment, and not everyone is using them. Why is that?
I mean, I think for one, they're quite new. I think that like, it's actually like grown quite a bit from, when there were only a couple dozen people doing it to like now when it's like a huge industry and lots of investments gone in and they're pretty practical. But I think even now still a lot of the tooling is still pretty under development. Like it's becoming very practical, but to actually use things in production, I feel like it's only just now. And I feel like we're really going to see over the next couple of years probably it being more used in practice. Both kind of on the scaling side, which I think where people have mostly seen them so far, as I think like a lot more projects will adopt the technology. It's been funny to see like, a lot of the optimistic ones seem like they're doing the best on Ethereum, but I suspect that they will start adopting ZK as well. Which would be funny because like, the original the ZK ones, well, we'll see. I think they have good chances also. So we'll see what happens there on the scaling side. But
Yeah.
also for the privacy side, which I think there's a lot of new applications unlocked, which is actually what we're mostly focused on these days, is these new applications using privacy, where we think there's a lot of use cases that can exist that will make crypto more visible and usable, and also like unlock a lot more mainstream use cases once you have privacy as a primitive you can pull in. So I mean, I think kind of in progress, but from like being seeing the how things have gotten more practical, it seems like like things are getting close to being and are being more widely used. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And so you mentioned a little bit about, more mainstream use cases. And so could you give us maybe a few of your favorite, or like the ones that you're most excited about for them
Yeah.
to, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a pretty wide set. Like I'll name some things that uh here's a few things. Like one is the ability to do proof of personhood in a much more like effective and safe way. There's demos now of people where you can take out your passport, which turns out has NFC in it, tapping your phone to it and being able to download information from the passport, and then using that information to create a private proof that says, I am a unique person, I am from this country, um, which lets you then participate, say like in like a private vote for people from your country, or a Sybil resistant application on chain, or lets you prove what country you're from for like pseudo KYC purposes, uh, etc. So being able to like do these kinds of proof of personhood stuff is one thing that's unlocked and seems pretty good. Another dimension is this is something we're doing with Mirai Assets, which I think is the largest asset like kind of like company in Korea. And what we're doing is they're putting RWAs and STOs onto like blockchain-like things. And they're using Mina to create private proofs about ownership of those assets, which means that you as a user can create a proof that you hold an asset in a private way. And what's interesting then is then companies can start offering benefits if you own their RWA or STO. For example, an entertainment company that owns like, a bunch of, has a bunch of artists under their profile could say, if you buy enough shares of our company, you can get monthly concert tickets to our artists. Or you could have a coffee shop like Starbucks or something say you get a free coffee once a month if you own Starbucks. So And that's possible because like it allows these companies to unlock the data that previously, like, which very makes sense, like for regulatory purposes, stays private in like a provable private way. So that's another one to mention that seems more kind of if everything comes together, it could be more mass market. Uh, I could go on, but there's lots of use cases as well. So we talked about identity, you talked about like kind of private company data. There's lots of things in AI. There's lots of things, augmentations to existing crypto applications like DEXs, like NFTs. There's just lots of stuff that this technology unlocks. That's really exciting right now is to imagine and see happening actually slowly new applications going live that using the technology.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like Mina is really facilitating all of these changes that could happen, right? So you guys have been busy building, and so could you tell us about the latest Berkeley upgrade that you guys did?
Yeah. I mean, I think one reason, yeah, why this is exciting too is because I think we've been in like this research and development mode for a super long time. Like we started early 2017 and we really just been working on zero knowledge proofs and building them up until now. And yeah, now is when the technology is becoming in a place where we can start working on more production applications. So the last thing, so Mina launched mainnet, the original mainnet, which was payments and staking only, but with this lightweight blockchain in 2021. And we've been working the last 3 years on full programmability for zero knowledge proofs. So this is making it so you can kind of take out, JavaScript, TypeScript, and start building with zero knowledge proofs in a very, straightforward way. It's just TypeScript. And we've been working on both making out a system to build those zero knowledge proofs in TypeScript, as well as stuff on chain for Mina to like orchestrate zero knowledge smart contracts with multi-party like interaction on chain. And yeah, that's this hard fork Berkeley that released like 2 or 3 months ago now. So this was like, a lot of work to like make that possible, but we released, like yeah, like the first kind of these like new environments for building zero knowledge proofs in like a much cleaner way with Berkeley. And that's, I think, also like why, we're in this stage now of use cases because it's really like now that we have that, we're now moving kind of up the stack. So we're working on all the standards on top of that, all the building blocks like DEXs and stuff on top of that, towards like unlocking a lot of these new use cases.
Amazing. So it seems like it was a very like developer friendly upgrade. So what about, just normal like people who want to use Mina, but they're not devs?
Yeah. I think that's the things on top of it that are getting built right now. So like it's a
Oh,
time in
right.
the ecosystem where like if you're a developer, if you're part of like kind of the core community, like you're seeing a lot of things like getting built. People are like sharing updates about the decks they're building, about the, like launchpad they're building, about the NFT platform they're building. Actually, one of those is released, about the games they're building, about the frameworks they're building. But a lot of that stuff is such that it is kind of in progress. A lot of them are about to launch to DevNet or have launched to DevNet, but aren't fully out for users yet. It seems like we're shooting for like a lot of these products are shooting for like by end of the year, like being out and ready to use. So I think by end of the year, people should expect like hopefully DEXs, launchpads, more NFT stuff, more private identity stuff, developers to have good frameworks for building applications and games. So a lot more things coming out. So yeah, we're kind of in this stage where like, okay, it's like everyone sees that we can build things and are starting to build them and get them launched. But from a user perspective, like there are some things you can start doing. There is an NFT platform, there are a few games. But like the thing is that like later this year when like it'll be like, oh wow, actually there's like a lot I can do and it all uses like new ZK stuff also.
Amazing, thank you. So, yeah, I mean, you did talk a little bit about roadmap and stuff, but first, I do want to talk about the Mina community and what that ecosystem looks like.
Yeah. At the moment, it's like I think okay, it's actually a fair number of folks, but I think like the most active is kind of the development front and the node operator front. With Mina, for one, like there isn't a limit on how many validators there are in the system, and there's no slashing. There's like a lot of things that about the consensus that kind of align with Mina's easy to run nodes. Like it still takes like 5-10 minutes to sync a node right now, not like weeks, like some others because of the layer proof.
Wait,
So there's
sorry.
a yeah,
Sorry, just a quick side note. It really took
yeah.
weeks
Yeah, I mean,
before.
if you try to think like Ethereum or Bitcoin today, it's like many days or weeks.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, like it's like a real limiter for decentralization. Yeah,
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
yeah, like
Yeah,
if you're
sorry.
using, yeah, no, yeah, like if you're using those platforms today, like usually like through MetaMask, or whatever, you're using an RPC which connects to like someone else's node that's running, and you're depending on them for the thing being decentralized. And so. Yeah, we want to, with Mina, it's like short. That's like the zero knowledge proof component. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
all of us have a computer science degree, sorry.
No, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And these are like big talking points, like, a few years ago when that stuff was kind of earlier stage, but it does seem now like it's kind of less so. So it's good to, I think it's good to bring back up because centralization is like really key to the tech to where we're at. And I feel like it's good to remember that and to like look at how decentralized things actually are. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And so you've mentioned decentralization a lot during this chat. And so you know how there's the blockchain trilemma, right? Which of the three is most important to you and to Mina?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like I think, everyone's like scaling decentralization security. Like I think we all like think security is important. Like let's not we can't drop that. That's necessary. And I think the thing for Mina is really we want to have both scaling and decentralization. Like I think like decentralized at scale is one of like the things we've thought about early on for Mina. And having it so we can have really high throughput and scale while still having it be really decentralized. And that's actually like I know we've talked about like a lot of use cases and stuff, and that's like where like we are focused a lot on now is like actual use cases and utility. But I think we have also like the foundation for something that will be able to do a lot of scale while being really decentralized. And that's also I think like one of the things that we're like both excited about and still like kind of uh you know sharing as well is that because and we see a lot of our developers also like it's nice to have this property because it's clear when you go to these other platforms like you're making trade-offs about your scale and your decentralization. But what's nice is with Mina there's a way to build that doesn't have a lot of those issues, where you can build because of these recursive zero knowledge proofs for verifying things. You can do things that are highly scalable while verifying it. And yeah, no, I mean that's also something that is exciting and we think is core. And also like we're excited as there's more applications that are all using this stuff to be able to say like, oh yeah, like it's all being verified in your browser. It's all fully decentralized too. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of long answer.
No, absolutely. And it's nice to see, that you guys are actually prioritizing all three because like you said, sometimes there's got to be a trade-off, right? But good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's okay to like trade off temporarily, but we should be all trying to get to all three being working well together. Yeah.
No, absolutely agree. Earlier you talked a little bit about, the roadmap. Could you go more into detail with that?
Yeah, so we launched Berkeley like, 2-3 months ago now. And with that, we're working really hard right now on like all the dependencies for doing stuff on top of Mina. Because Mina, like to do all the zero knowledge proof stuff, it's all in TypeScript, new things that needs to get built. Like for example, a few weeks ago we released fungible token standard for Mina, which is like our version of ERC20, but that's only just released a few weeks ago. Uh, there'll be like an NFT standard, there will be dexes, there will be all these other stuff on top. And we're like, working on those building blocks right now because we feel like once those building blocks are done, it'll be a lot easier to build and to use. So at the moment, it's like kind of like this quarter is like, okay, work on building blocks. And really, it's a lot of people working on that across the community. We're just like supporting at this point as the foundation. We're like, how can we help you, get this done? Because we all know we need to have it. Like, what can we do? So that's Q4. I think next quarter will hopefully be more about growth. There'll be lots of things for users to do on chain, which will be, mean it'll be time to like, get more awareness, get more people on board building and using things people have built. So early next year, we're planning on that. There's also a lot of like ZK kind of specific native use cases, like around identity, around like things like RWAs that we're working on getting out there, that we think will be exciting for people to use also. Also, probably like early-ish next year is the plan for that. And yeah, I think once we get going, we'll be in like pretty like good shape in terms of getting the core technology out and stuff. Beyond that, there's a much longer roadmap around a lot of technical improvements. We'll see like exactly what form it takes, but we're starting to work on like an internal white paper around what scaling Mina could look like, which is particularly focused on kind of how to create ways of combining L2s on Mina with the L1, where L2s on Mina are kind of being fully verified by the L1 because of the zero knowledge proofs. So you get some nice properties. Anyway, like a longer term protocol roadmap is also kind of both on our website and more details are in progress. Maybe that gives a good overview. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I've actually seen the roadmap on your website and there's just so many branches of it. So yeah, it's nice to hear like, a kind of condensed version of your priorities. Another thing that really comes up quite a lot, like nowadays and when you hear in the crypto world is real world assets, right? So could you actually give maybe an example of what these are and
Yeah, I
how,
think
and how it connects to Web3?
yeah, totally. I mean, I think, crypto, we've seen a lot of tokens go on chain, but often those tokens are for either things that are digital or things that are, just memes or things that are other like kind of like otherwise online. And this is just this idea, let's take financial assets that are off chain, which is, of course, the existing market for assets in general, and let's put them on chain in some way, which is nice because you start getting a lot of the composability properties that crypto's been working on. Like you can start, putting things together with, like the DeFi things on chain and also unlocking other functionality on them. On the Mina side, we're mostly interested on kind of the unlocking other functionality around like these private proofs about thing details or ownership of the assets. But there's a lot more going on, like putting tokenized treasuries on chain or tokenized real estate, just kind of like anything that's been an off-chain asset, making it on-chain and composable.
Amazing. Thank you. Do you have any closing comments or anything for viewers?
Um, I guess just like, yeah, well, like I think, people talk about, it's been interesting to see kind of like the public discussion about ZK. Like, uh, I think like people should just kind of keep watching the space because there's a lot more coming, particularly around use cases that involve privacy. And if they should probably, I think follow Mina, follow the other projects in that space as we start launching more applications to use, because I think there'll be some interesting things, both kind of on like the real world use case side, the kind of fun side, just like kind of a new area of things getting unlocked because of zero knowledge proofs. So I would say just keep an eye and check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this episode. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Evan, for your time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.